Hello and welcome to Tabletop Odyssey. My name is Jay, and today I'm just going to look at some recently announced information regarding the Sith Infiltrator for Star Wars X-Wing. FFG have put an article out today, and all in all, it's a very interesting ship. Like, if I was maybe 13 years old and it was 2014, I'd maybe say it's lit. But I'm of course neither of those two things. But yes, it's very interesting. I really like the look of it. It's coming out in Wave 3, the Sith Infiltrator, and the Sith being key part of this name. It's not generally a droid ship. It's the ship that I was gonna say the Jedi's. It's not the Jedi's. The Dark Lords and stuff like that use. And it's overall, well, I like the look of it. Number one, I like the look of it, but we've already seen the look of it. But we'll go through the cards and stuff like that. First, we'll have a quick look at that dial. It's got a 5K, which I'm always happy to see, and it's got a 2 Segnors loop, which is quite interesting. Hard one is red, and then everything else is blue and white. It's got a pretty decent dial. Yeah, I mean, I wouldn't be displeased. That's a fairly maneuverable ship by default. So. Very interesting indeed. And so we'll just go through and we'll just look through all of the cards. Like, I'll do them like this and we'll just look through. Can I make that a bit bigger very easily? Not very easily, but sort of. There we go. It's massive. So Darth Maul, classic. Happy to see Darth Maul, of course. I think we may have already seen Darth Maul, but do correct me if I'm wrong there. Let's have a look at the ship overall. Like, we don't know the point cost. The downside to these articles generally is that you don't know how much you're going to be paying for this ship. But one way or another, it'll end up being appropriately balanced, you would think, because they can change the points. So, yeah. It's got a red barrel roll, no boost, just a red barrel roll. And, okay, and that doesn't make it like it's not an ace, is it, basically, because it's got 1... agility and then 6 hull and 4 shields. Darth Maul himself has 3 force, very powerful, and 3 on the attack. Alright, I mean, that agility is made up for it by the shields and hull, so alright, fair enough. And Darth Maul himself is after you perform an attack, you may spend 2 focus to perform a bonus primary attack against a different target. If your attack missed, you may perform that bonus attack against the same target instead. I'm not going to lie, that's good, that's nice, I like that, very flavourful, and I think they throw in hate, because if you then get damaged, which you are probably going to do if you've got 1 agility, then you recover your force, and, you know, you can then use it again to perform your bonus attacks and that kind of thing. So, all in all, this is just this ship only, at the setup, well, you gain cloak, but it's red, and jam. After the place forces step, you may cloak. Fair enough, so you can pretty much start cloaked. And after you decloak, you may choose an enemy ship in your bullseye arc. If you do, it gains 1 jam token, which is pretty, you know, alright. Again, that's fine. Again, depends on the points, but it's an interesting card, interesting on that ship, so that's fair enough. Now, Count Dooku, I've not really watched enough of the Clone Wars. I think I'm in like season 3, but I've never really seen him fly. But he must obviously be a pilot. I'm sure he is. But the initiative there, 3, possibly representing that he's not much of one. Again, he has 3 force tokens. And after you defend, if the attacker is in your firing arc, you may spend 1 force to remove 1 of your blue or red tokens. Can't get rid of your stress or whatever. And after you perform an attack that hits, you may spend 1 force to perform an action, which would be pretty interesting. Yeah, maybe like you want to get another focus, something like that. But maybe you want to target lock somebody else who's moved after you moved, so they're now in range, perhaps. I don't know if you'd want to barrel roll, maybe, but there you have it. Now, Palpatine. This when I saw this, I was like, what does this mean for Legion? I really like this because he's for the Republic or the Separatists, which is genius, and I really like it. Somebody who said on the Discord for Legion, I sort of hope they do a Chancellor, a Palpatine, and a Darth Sidious. That would be amusing. But equip this side face up. Equip this side face up. I've not equipped this. Oh, does it flip over? I didn't check this enough. After you defend, if the attacker is in your range 0 to 2, you may spend 1 force. If you do, the attacker gains 1 stress token. Yeah, always good to try and manipulate your opponents so you know where they're going to go, and with the stress token you pretty much know that, and you can spend the force for the coordinate. It does show the Darth Sidious side. I missed this on my first glance through this, I do apologise. After you perform a purple coordinate action, the ship you coordinated gains 1 stress token, then it gains 1 force token or recovers 1 force. So, you know, bit of a force synergy going on there. Ooh, misclicked that away, didn't I? Count Dooku as a crew member here. Before a ship at range 0 to 2 rolls attack or defense dice, if all your force are active, you may spend 1 force and name a result. If the roll does not contain the name result, the ship must change 1 die to that result. So you pretty much always going to say crit, unless crits are bad and you might want to do a hit. Yeah, I like that. It's weird. It's like an offensive C-3PO, which amuses me. General Grievous is a crew. While you defend after the neutralized step, if there are 2 or more hit or crit results, you may spend 1 force to cancel a hit or crit result. And after your friendly ship is destroyed, after our friendly ship is destroyed, you recover a charge. So you might want to pop that early because you want to get the use out of that if you've got like a swarm of crap ships. But the reality is, you know, if Grievous gets focused down, the ship with Grievous in, then that's not necessarily going to help too much. But, you know, maybe you could run it as a swarm and then force them to attack the big ship, maybe. A Z6 0, is this all 66 or 066? Don't know. Pilot skill 3 though. After you defend, you may spend 1 calculate token to perform an action. Fine, fantastic. It's pretty much like Dooku's, I think, though, essentially. K2B4. This is a solitary card, so you can only have, I think you can only have 1 solitary card in your entire list. Obviously you can only have 1 K2B4 because it's unique, but I think you can only have 1 solitary. I may be wrong, I may have to check that. But while a friendly ship at 0 range 3 defense, it may spend 1 calculate token. If it does, add 1 evade result, and unless the attacker chooses to gain a strain token. Now I've heard that a strain token basically reduces their defense by 1. So, yeah, depending on the cost, you could definitely throw that in for sure. Obviously, that synergizes more with the droids of the Separatists rather than the Sith, but it's there, it looks cool, it sounds cool. I would happily take that. The Dark Courier, just a generic pilot. We don't know how much this is going to cost, so hard to know if you're going to be able to like squeeze them in or not. And then would you want to call it the Dark 1 probe or the DRK 1 probe droids? During the end phase, you may spend 1 charge to drop or launch one of these probes using a speed 3 template, and they can't be recovered. So you get 2 and no more. I'll show you what. Well, basically it drops this thing, right, which is really cool. So when a friendly ship locks an object or jams an enemy ship, it may measure the range from this droid. It can be damaged because if you overlap it, you roll a hit. And then at the assistance phase, you can move away using the range 2. So quick illustration of what that is. Massive picture now. This is just the generic, well, not the generic, but the early, sorry, that I'm adding the evade. But this is the little token. So yeah, you could drop the little droid, and then it can move going in any of these directions, and you can bank, so you can properly go in any directions, and then you can measure like distance from it. So this ship here, the Infiltrator, Sith Infiltrator, could target lock or jam this ship, well, even though it's very far away, which is pretty cool. Yeah, I wasn't that interested in the Separatists, I'm not gonna lie. The ships weren't that interesting to me visually, and the flavour just was a bit droid heavy, and for some reason the droids in space are less interesting to me than the droids, say, on the ground for Legion. But having seen the Infiltrator, I'm like, oh, maybe I'm going to have to collect all 7 factions. The only faction that really doesn't interest me is Scum. I don't know why. But so this is possible. Haven't quite made up my mind, but I like the flavour. I'm all about flavour. So like in Legion, when it comes to like Boba Fett and Bosk and all that kind of stuff, I'm all about flavour, and I like the flavour there, and that's basically what gets me. So that was a quick look at that. Yeah, I'm trying to get into this hyperspace thing at the moment, and these are probably hyperspace legal. So everything I discuss is probably just going to try and relate to hyperspace, and most of the news is going to be hyperspace legal, we would presume. And that's why I'm going to try and talk about the Legion news just a little bit. The Legion news, the X-Wing news just a little bit. So yeah, just a little X-Wing news video. I don't often do it, but there you have it. I'll go try and do more, just because it, you know, I need to keep my mind fresh with it and keep on top of it a little bit. I think sometimes I just see the news and I'm like, oh, I'll get it when it comes out. But it's nice to have a little bit of awareness about what's coming out and what combos might exist and that kind of thing. So if you like this video, do actually really like, because I need to know if these are actually worth doing, if people are interested or not. So if nobody's interested, then I won't do them. That sounded really like, you know, like when a teacher says, if nobody tells me none of you are going home. I don't mean it like that. I mean it in a nice way. Have a beautiful day. Like, subscribe. Have a beautiful day, and goodbye.